I'm Captain Doug Stanford with Texas Fish Tips. It's your weekly fishing report. Guys and gals, start out here at the end of the jetties. There's lots of fish. If it's not too windy and not dangerous, get out there. If it's north wind, get on that north jetty on the inside. And there's a lot of good fish, about 15 to 25 foot of water all down through there. You can anchor up. You can use a trolling motor. It has that little GPS in it. It'll spot lock. It'll hold you one spot. Any of that will work very fine. But shrimp is the way to go. Usually I'm using about an ounce to 2 ounce egg sinker. I try and go as light as I can depending on the tide, on the current going through there. If it's a real strong, I'm going to have to go down to 3 ounce. If it's very light, I'm using a split shot, chunking it up on the rocks and letting it feather it down, hooking that live shrimp in the nose, and just let him go down. You'll catch sheep's head, you'll catch some big trout, and there's a lot of good redfish in through there. There's no telling what else you'll come up with those either. There's been a few red snapper caught in there as well. Same way over on the south jetty. You get over there on that south jetty, trying to get too close to the rocks. There's a lot of people fishing off of them. But that's where the fish are. They're right next to the rocks. People on the rocks will get out there way out in the middle. The guys in the boat will get up here and throw right up on the rocks, and that's where the fish are. All right, come on back down here by Klein's Landing. And this rocky point down through here, and Channel View Apartments all down through here, there's been holding some nice redfish. About an ounce, 2 ounce egg sinker. Sometimes just split shot, it depends on the current again. But shrimp has been a way to go. There's been some slot red, but some good trout mixed in there as well. About 4 or 5 foot of water where we're catching them. Good old Phenodox. That's a place to be. If it's not too windy, not too many boats. But there's a lot of good fish. And the incoming tide, you want to get in the front of it. And if it's real strong, you can anchor out here and let your boat get real close to those bulkheads and just drop your line. It'll wash right by them. Those sheep's head will eat you up. Shrimp is the way to go. Now, get over at Martin Midstream, right back here. There's the whole bulkhead coming down through here. Well, then where it stops, there's some rocks, and you see some big pilings. And those big tile pilings right down through here, you can tie up to them, throw it to the rocks, and that's where your fish are. You want to catch a bunch of sheep's head, you can also just anchor there and drop straight down. It's about 15 foot of water where those pilings are, and fish right next to the pilings. Sometimes you take a shovel and knock a bunch of those oysters and barnacles off, and it'll chum those sheep's head up. But there'll also be some speckled sea trout and redfish all down through there. All right, go to Lydia Inn Channel. There's SS Worthington right down through. It's got a couple of white markers. If that current is not going too strong, it's a good time to go. You can do it, but you're going to have to anchor up in front of it if it's real strong current and let your line drift in front of it, kind of tickle that wreck. But there's a lot of good sheep's head, there's some trout, and there's a few reds on it. Now, with that said, you get up in this big slough right back up in here. Anywhere's down through here, there's some sheep's head through here. There's some redfish. Now, when that water drops out, there'll be some redfish in here because what they're on these flats. And when these flats get low, they find that deeper water. And they're right here in this channel where they'll be. Right on that edge of that channel is where they'll be. There'll be a lot of small reds, but these some good-sized reds, all on shrimp or crab fish bites. That works pretty good, too. Now, down Quarantine Shoreline, wade fishers been catching pretty good fish down through here artificial. They'll park the boat and just go walking down through here, and they catch some reds and trout both on artificials. Okay, over here in Big Bayou, right out here, they also call it Yucca Point and Yucca Cut, but in that deeper water's been holding some black drum in there. Now, if you got some popping cork and shrimp, you can just drift down through these flats, and there's been some redfish and trout. There's been some trout over in California holding this deeper hole, and just keep on drifting through here. This is Bird Island right here. Any of this down through here, and just keep on drifting. You can also do it with the artificial. If that water gets real low, you might have to be a skinnier water boat and be careful, because you can get hung up and through there. But when it does get real skinny, some fish will be in these little cuts like this where they drop off in that channel. If you just don't go on the outside edges, you will get stuck. But that's where those fish will go. Anywhere's down through, like the old terminal down through here, this little cut right here, it'll hold some fish same as well. When that water drops out, there'll be some good fish. If you don't have a skinny water boat, you can fish anywhere's up and down this ICW on the outside edges. Especially like these points right here, there's rocks. Anywhere's right down through here. Usually the south end right here is usually where there's some rocks are at, and there'll be sheep's head, there'll be black drum. There may even be a redfish or even speckled sea trout in there. But shrimp is the way to go. All right, let's start out here at Recon Channel. Either one of these channels will hold some fish. The channel edges is usually the best way to go. That shrimp has been working. But anywhere's down through here is some good fish. And that deeper water right down on that channel edges, there's some oysters down through there. It's a good place to throw that shrimp. Now, if you want to go fishing for free, right over here at this point, these Indian Point right here, this pier, it's really working pretty good. There's some black drum in there. There's a few trout mixed in, mainly sandies, but there is some good redfish in there as well. But shrimp is the way to go. And then go over to Ingleside, all the way over here. Anywhere is this protected area. There's several factories all down through here, Chenier and all these others. Anywhere's down through in this protected water's been holding some fish. It's also 50 foot of water down through here, and so they don't have far to go to get that safety when it gets real cold. But anywhere's up and down this bank down through here, look for the potholes. That's a good place to go fishing. Get you some cut mullet or even finger mullet. But I'm still using shrimp because there's not a lot of perch around here. Perch are in the deeper water. And I'm getting away with it. So anywhere's down through has been holding some nice reds. Thanks for watching. I'm Captain Doug Stanford.